it takes about 30 seconds to run down, or even longer at idle power.
Okay.
So you'll see the needle slowly going down.
Right.
But same with this, like, see?
Yeah.
It takes a few seconds.
Should I turn it back to the
No,
other one now?
leave it on right, yeah.
Okay.
So basically, when you do a takeoff, what you want to do is you want to make sure you take off in the tank that you did the power checks on.
Okay.
Because you've checked that everything runs, that the high flow coming out of the tank is running from that tank, okay. So we start on the left tank, so we know that works, and then we're going to do the power checks on the right tank. The worst thing you could do is do the power checks, then change tank and take off, and then accidentally select it off, and the engine stops at 200 feet, because that's where it will stop, unfortunately.
Okay. So RPM to 2000.
Just check behind, yeah, we're all clear behind, yeah.
Foot on the brakes as
well.
well.
Yeah, just make sure it doesn't roll forward. That's good.
Carburetor heat.
Yeah, so much more of a drop on this compared to the Grob.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we know that works.
Magnetos check. Left 100.
Oh. Back. There you go. It's alright.
Right 100 as well.
Yeah, that's Good tip I give you for this one as well is always do the right mag first.
Okay.
So if you go one, and then you go, because when you check the left mag second, you can only go to left mag and you'll always go back to both. Right. If you do the right mag second, you can accidentally leave it in the left one and not back to both. Just recommendation.
Okay.
You don't have to do it or anything, but that's what I always do because it means I don't take off on one mag.
Sure. T's and P's are in the green.
Yeah.
Alternator is charging and throttle close.
Yeah. All the way back.
Nautical radio, this is Gyrocopter.
No cutout, that's good.
Radio check and Airfield information, please.
That's it, pre-takeoff. So trim is stabiliser, so we're on neutral.
Use 27 left-hand QFE.
Is that the,
that's a throttle friction, yeah. So that's tight, that's really loose, so somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
Left-hand,
mixture is rich, carb heat is off, fuel selector is on and it's on the right tank. Primer is locked.
Yeah, just pull on it, yep.
Okay. Flaps as required. So are we taking off with flaps? Or?
There's no needs on this, but
engine instruments check.
So engine instruments are these ones, and then these are the flight instruments. So yeah, we'll make sure everything's in the green, which it is.
Yep. Cabin heat as required.
Yeah, that's this one here. Demister at the top, and then foot heat at the bottom. If you want to, just let me know.
Vent fan is off.
Yeah, that's this one here. So if it's on the ground, you can turn this on, so there's some air comes out here.
Yep.
Pretty useless, to be honest.
Alternate static source is off.
Okay, we don't have that in this aircraft.
Okay, seatbelt straps unlocked. Yep.
Locked.
Door window is latched and closed.
Top and bottom.
Flying controls are free from movement.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, there we go. So that's a good.
So, how do I change this seat down?
So you can. Well, I'd probably be inclined to take it off for takeoff and then use it in the cruise then. But it's up to you. You can put it down, but then you can't see out as well. The controls move much more than they would on the Grob.
Yes. I move that out of the way.
Oh, you've disconnected yourself, have you? There we go.
Right, there we go. Okay. Door window latch closed, flight controls, flight instruments check. We've done.
Okay, so they're the ones at the top now. So yeah, we have the QNH set to make sure that's still aligned.
Which it is.
It's gone out again. See, when you taxi at low revs, the gyro slows down.
280, 290.
290, yeah. It's about 40 degrees out.
So.
Yeah, push it back. Yeah, at low revs, it seems to wander off a bit.
There we go. Departure clearance obtained if needed. We don't need that.
Need it here, yep.
And radio nav equipment is already set.
Yeah.
Fuel pump is
that's on.
on.
Now. Yep.
Landing lights. So that's lights, camera, action.
That's it. Yeah, very good. Yeah.
So all of those
three on when we enter the runway. Yeah.
Camera is that one to stand by.
Yeah.
And action is taken off. Okay.
So now I recommend going around to the left here. And we'll have you won't make that turn there, so. And then while we're going, so we see the gyro coming down. We see there's a Chinook over there. See below level?
Oh yeah.
Watch out for him. And then we're looking out for any other traffic. There is somebody in the circuit, so we'll find out where he is. Maybe he's just taken off. Oh, here he is. Here, turning on to final.
Okay.
So we better wait for him, I think.
Yes. and
So you're getting the hang of the checks.
so Nottingham radio,
No, you don't
holding 27.
no, you don't need to say Nottingham radio. Once you made the first contact and he's established that he is Nottingham radio, then you just need to call it. So what we can say now is once he's pretty much about to pass us, you can say Golf Romeo Charlie ready for departure. And then he'll just tell you the wind. And you can say backtracking runway 27, Golf Romeo Charlie. So yeah, you can probably say it now. By the time he's finished, he'll be past us. So ready for departure.
Golf Romeo Charlie ready for departure.
Charlie, Roger, surface wind 270, 14 knots.
Entering backtrack runway 27.
Entering backtrack runway 27, Golf Romeo Charlie.
Very good. No one else in the circuit, we're all clear to the right. And he's doing a touch and go, so he's gone again. So lights, camera, action.
So wrong way round.
Doesn't matter. You can also do it at the holding point just before you go, say if you're doing it while you're taxiing.
Yeah.
So you can see the suction is quite low here and the light is on at low revs, so that's probably why the gyro is wandering a bit.
Right.
So once we're in flight and we're level, we can set it again and just see if it's
sure.
It'll stay aligned then.
What were those two big lights there?
Oh, they're 8 poppies precision approach, abbreviated precision approach path indicators.
That's the green, the white and red.
White and red, yeah, for night flying. And then on the radio, when you're ready, go from Charlie taking off.
Golf Sierra X-ray going downwind. Sierra X-ray.
Golf Romeo Charlie taking off.
Charlie.
That's it. Smoothly apply full power. That's it, all the way to full. Keeping the aircraft straight on the runway. And about 55 knots then, a little bit of back pressure on the control. This is much heavier aircraft, so keep your hand up on that there to make sure it doesn't slip out of position. Oil pressure is good.
Sure, copy Romeo Alpha, entering landing up 27.
Okay, there's about 55, a little bit of back pressure, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. It's quite heavy. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. There you go. That's it. Wings level now. And we're going to climb at 70 knots, so that's perfect. So this climbs with a much more nose-high attitude than, say, two-seaters.
Yeah.
Because our available power here is much higher. We're not at max weight where you usually would be in a Tommy. So if you find you need to trim down here between the seats. Okay, we start a gentle left-hand turn now. That's it. And about there is enough, so 15 degrees of bank and a climbing turn, which is about there. That's it. And we just kind of do a continuous left turn into the overhead and depart towards the north. It's a lot heavier, isn't it, than
it is, yes.
than probably what you're used to. Takes a lot of people by surprise on the takeoff. That's good. And yeah, you can start the turn again now. I got helicopter traffic.
Romeo Alpha, taking
Got
off
him there, he's clear.
Romeo Alpha.
Golf Sierra X-ray final.
Okay, that's it. Keep the turn going right into the overhead.
One departing, surface wind 270, 10 knots.
Into the over the field, yeah?
Yeah, and we're going to head straight to the north. In fact, see the power station up there on the horizon?
Yes.
We're going to aim for that.
Okay.
And we'll keep the climb going up to 2,000 feet. So you may need to trim there as well. You're probably struggling a bit. It's quite a heavy aircraft. This gives you a neutral position for 4 people on board, not for 2. So it's usually a bit nose heavy when you take off.
One of the checks that tells me is flags after we take off. Now,
Flags, so that would be flaps, landing light.
Airspeed, is it?
Airspeed, I've never heard of it.
No.
Flags, I'll have to look that one up. Yeah, the flaps are the important one on the grub.
Yeah.
To retract them.
It's a very different pitch attitude on this, isn't it?
Yeah. This is a 160. You want to fly a 180 horsepower version of this, it's a beast. Okay, so we're coming up to 2,000, so we're climbing at 1,000 feet a minute, so as you know, 10% of that, it's about 100 feet before, 80 feet before, start levelling off. And we'll see if we can find the nose, the straight and level attitude. So it's a little bit more nose down, probably about 3 or 4 fingers, a little bit more, about there I'd say.
Golf Sierra 3, runway takeoff.
And remember to bring your power back as well before you trim too much, otherwise it'll be out of trim again. So about the halfway position is usually cruise power on most aircraft. And you can fine tune it later on. So when you're ready on the radio, you can say Golf Romeo Charlie, departing north, call and rejoin.
Golf Romeo Charlie departing to the north.
Charlie, Roger.
Okay, good.
And
So,
we're still climbing.
Still climbing, yeah. So 2300.
And
And what happens now, this airplane cruises a lot faster. It's got a much bigger speed range.
Okay.
So when you trim it out but it's still accelerating, then it starts to climb again because it's more lift on the wing. But you can see it's pretty solid once you do trim it out.
That is amazing.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now it's bad for training because it's too easy. Good. Okay, so we continue north a little bit more just to get away from the airspace. Are you familiar with the airspace around here?
No.
Okay, so I use this bend in the river that we're just coming up to now as kind of the limit for the airspace. It's actually at the end of the water sports centre.
Okay.
Okay, so you need to be below 2,500 by the water sports centre, but I give myself a bit of a buffer. So I get down to below 2.5, which we are already. So it's 2.5 above here now. It's pretty much up to flight level 190. But further in, you just need to be careful. And the Ryanair training aircraft's out today as well, so he'll be pottering about. Yeah, we could set that up now. So we're in cruise unaccelerated flights. So yeah, that's giving us a heading of 025. Oh, it's actually bang on. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
RAF Sarston's over there. See the runways?
Oh yes.
The 2 lakes are a really good giveaway.
Okay.
Okay, so they've got an ATZ that's 2 miles around. So once you stay to the left of these 2 lakes and the railway line, you're clear.
Okay.
It does go slightly over the railway line a little bit later, but it's unlikely that they're active, but I just treat it as they're active all the time. We just stay away from them. Cool. So, now we can turn the fuel pump off now. If the engine's stopped now, you turn the fuel pump back on again.
Yes.
If you do anything and something bad happens, undo it.
And is that the prison?
That's the prison, yep. And you've got just in front of the tip of the wing, you got the airfield as well, the airstrip at
Oh yes.
what's it called? Lamley Airfield.
Okay.
Yeah, there's another one just on the nose there. So there's a T in the green green strip.
Yes.
In the brown fields.
Yes.
That's a little microlight strip as well, but it's it's quite short. You land this thing into it, but you get it out on a truck. You can see kind of where the airspace is there. Right, let's have a look at the lesson. So we're pretty much trimmed out there. You can see it's really easy to fly. So we'll do a turn to the left. We've got our power station in the distance.
Yes.
And we'll do... Oh yeah, they are actually active today. See, there's a glider out in the middle triangle.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, it looks like they are active today, but we're clear anyway on this side. So what we do is we're going to do a turn to the left. So I'll demo one first. You can follow me through the controls.
Okay.
So first thing we'll do, have a look, make sure no one's there. That's good. Okay, so bank first, so let's roll into the bank. And let's see, I'd say about there. It's 30, close enough. Okay, let's have a look at the balance. So it's pretty much in balance now, but we're descending. So I need a bit of back pressure. So if I put it about there, I reckon that's about straight and level for this airplane. Having another look to see if there's any traffic. Now let it settle down and I check against the instruments, and we're flying a level flight now. So you have a look at that picture at the front and you see where that is relative to the horizon. For me, the nose is quite below the horizon.
Yes.
So that's the kind of the picture that I'm looking for. I don't know if it is for you as well, or if it's above the horizon.
It is above.
Above, okay. So you need to find where the horizon cuts the nose.
Yes.
Okay, a little bit of back pressure. Having a look at my balance ball. I'm actually not doing anything with the rudder because we're going against the engine here, so it balances itself out. keeping a look outside, looking for our reference point. Here it comes now, and 10 or 15 degrees before we roll out, something like that, releasing the back pressure, and we should be back to level flight. Easy.
Just like that.
Just like that. Now, we don't trim in a turn because a trim is a kind of a temporary or transient maneuver.
Yes.
So it means when you come out, all you need to do is release the back pressure, and assuming your speed is the same and your power is the same, it should still be a trim.
Okay.
So do you want to have a go with that to the left?
Yes, we'll have a go.
So have a look. Looks clear.
Looks clear.
Okay, and around you go. So there's the bank, up towards 30 degrees, and then a little bit of back pressure, and then we'll check the balance ball.
So there's my 30.
Yeah.
Balance is in.
Good.
Looking out.
Looking out. And now it's all settled. Let's have a look at our VSI. Oh, that is perfect. Hang on. So we're just keeping that picture the whole way around. If the nose moves a small bit, tends to, you'll see it after a minute on the VSI, but it's bang on there. Plus or minus 100 feet we can call level. Check the bank, check the balance, good, looking out. That's it, good. So descending very slightly, so oh no, it's back to level again. There's our reference point in the distance. And roll out whenever you think. About there, easing off the back pressure. It's gone up a small bit.
Oops.
Yeah, it's alright. See, I told you to do that. Everyone does it, natural thing. Just let it settle down then. There we go, bang on. 2,000 feet on a reference point. So, quite a straightforward thing. Now, a little bit more difficult in the two-seaters. They're not as stable as this, and they need a little bit more input. So, we'll just go past Arston here, because we'll do a right turn now. Right turn is exactly the same, except the picture's going to look completely different.
Sure.
If you're flying in an aircraft that's inline, like I don't know, a Chipmunk, or if you're lucky enough a Spitfire,
yes.
It's the same no matter which way you turn. The picture's the same because you're on the
Yes.
central line, but most modern aircraft it's side-by-side seating, so you have to take that into account. But you do it before you know what you'll be doing without thinking. So we'll just fly a little bit further. In fact, let's turn onto a westerly heading, and we can do this as a practice turn, I guess. And see these wind turbines over here? They're up at Mansfield.
Okay.
We'll aim for them and we'll use them as our reference point.
Helicopter on Romeo Alpha, turning short final 27, touch and go.
Okay.
Romeo Alpha, Roger, 2706 knots.
Not too bad.
No, that's good. So yeah, the key to this is just looking out the whole time, and before you know it, you'll be turning. Ball will be in the middle. Everything will be perfect without looking at the instrument. You know from the feel of the aircraft, and we'll show you some mishandled turns in a bit, so you know what it looks like when things go wrong.
Okay.
So let's do one to the right. So I'll demo this one.
Okay.
And then that's me finished flying for the day then. I've had enough. Right, so we're clear to the right.
Clear to the right.
Okay, so we'll go ease it into the turn. Now checking now, we need a little bit of right rudder here this time. Small bit. A little bit of back pressure. Oh, a little bit too much maybe. So now for me, the top of the cowling has been cut through the
Yes.
horizon there. Now
I've got this bit of the cowling on the horizon.
okay. Having a look. Now let's look inside. What are we? We're going out about 100 feet a minute, so a small correction. That's her going. Good look in here. Looks good.
Charlie, good afternoon, radio 5, runway use 2.
Bank, I'm banking a little bit too much, so I'll ease off the bank. When you ease off the bank, you might need to change the back pressure a little bit as well. So it's a bit of a juggling act. If your bank is too high, you need to change the back pressure as you adjust it. Let's have a look now. The bank is eased off a little bit. Where's our reference point? Here they come now.
Which is harder for me to see this time.
Harder this time, yeah. So sometimes it can be a heading, sometimes it can be something featured in the distance. So somewhere around there. And ease off the back pressure as we come out. And, oh, not even on it. There we go. Back to level flight. So the picture's different, that's the only thing. So
yes.
It's climbing on us now. Settling now. So it gets a bit bumpy like this, it can be difficult to trim. Let me just retrim it slightly. Now, so you have controls again.
I have control.
So when you're ready, we'll do the same. You're all clear to the right.
I'm clear to the right.
Just a different picture this time. Okay. There's the nose dropping. So the bank is a little bit high. Ease off the bank angle, ease off the back pressure. So how does the nose look now?
Bit high.
Bit high, okay, so just ease off the back pressure. And once it comes down then, put it back to where you want to, yeah. So bank angle's perfect. Small bit of right rudder maybe. Just a small amount, that's all it is, yeah. There we go, we're back to level flight again. Good look. It's all clear on this side.
The plane wants to do everything itself.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. More on the bank.
So you can see nose has gone up a little bit, that's it.
Yeah.
Down to your reference point.
And then we're coming
So
up to our heading nearly. Yeah. So roll out.
That's it. And then looking for that picture. There we go. Good. So pretty straightforward, huh?
Yes.
Let's show you what happens when they're not quite straightforward, when they're balanced. So, well, you can do it, because I'll just talk you through it. So, let's do a turn to the right, but let's put in too much right rudder.
Okay.
So, let's go, so just do a normal turn entry. Now, let's put loads of right rudder in. Now, see the nose is, right now, pull back. Yeah, now you can feel that's all wrong.
Wow.
You got G-forces there, ball's not in the centre. Yeah. So don't pull too much, just nice and gently, and you go, there's something not right there. And now the nose is too high, so we need to just put the nose back to where we were. And there we go. So what happens there, if you put rudder in, the nose goes into the turn, the nose drops, and then the bank angle steepens, and then you're pulling into a spiral dive.
Yes.
So this aircraft's pretty good. In fact, if you release the controls, it almost fixes it itself.
And if you did start to go into the spiral, you do opposite rudder.
If you go into a spiral dive, I'll show you now in a minute because I'm going to show you one. You roll out at the turn, stop the turn, and climb away.
Okay.
So you can roll out now. I'll show you.
Okay, you have control.
Okay, I have control. So this is what a spiral dive looks like. So we go into a turn. Now, usually doing a steeper turn, you can't. Well, you could, I suppose, but generally it's in steep turns you go to spiral dives. Let's do one to the right. So what happens is here, you get a little bit distracted, and you're going to 45 degrees, and your passenger starts getting sick beside you, and the nose drops. Okay, and you haven't put the back pressure in.
Okay.
So what happens to the speed? The speed's going to start increasing with the nose dropping, and you think, oh, the nose is way too low, so I'm going to pull back. And now you feel the G-forces.
Wow.
And now the speed is increasing.
Yeah.
And it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And look at the speed now, we're doing 130 knots. And you go, oh. So the natural reaction is to pull out of this.
Yeah.
That's not what you do. So you just roll the wings level. Raise the nose. You can see how quickly that gets out of hand.
Yes.
So that's just from a normal rate now. On a steep turn, that happens quite quickly. And I see we lost nearly 500 feet there.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when the nose drops too much.
That feeling is amazing.
Do you like it? Yeah. A lot of
yeah.
people don't like that. Right, I'll give you controls again. So you have
Okay,
controls. So it's
control.
quite nose heavy because it's got quite slow. So, but it'll accelerate. So let's go around to the right again. Let's use the power station to the north.
Okay. Clear right.
Yeah. So we'll try and maintain this altitude, 1900. Now we're right over the top of this little strip now. So the nose drops and the speed starts increasing. Just roll the wings level, pull out. And yeah, we'll use this power station up here. So some of the really old aircraft are horribly balanced. And when you turn them, literally you turn them like this and they just fly straight sideways. And you need the rudder to get them into the turn. So you need a bit of coordination with rudder in some aircraft, but this is pretty good. So I'll just show you another one to the left now, so you can follow me through the controls. So this is where we go, bank balance, and then I put way too much outside rudder in now. See that? Now that just feels wrong, doesn't it?
Wants us to.
Yeah, you're feeling you're falling out the side of the airplane.
Yeah.
So if you get that feeling, that means the airplane's not flying in balance. So you look at your balance ball and go, oh, I need to put in left rudder, let's put in left rudder. There we go. Now it feels right again.
Yeah.
So in theory, when this balance ball is in the middle, we can have a glass of water on the dashboard and it won't spill. That's what that's saying to you. Right, we'll roll out there. So that's the important balance in the turn. That if you too much rudder or too little rudder in, the aircraft will kind of fly sideways into the turn and it won't really turn, or it'll turn too fast. So that's pretty much it. So let's just do a couple more practices. So find yourself a reference point on the horizon somewhere, and we'll do some turns onto that.
Okay. Yes, I've got that, the white part there right in front of us.
Okay, yep.
So we're clear to the
Yeah,
right.
so let's do one to the left.
Right
Do one to the left for a bit.
So we're clear left.
Yeah.
We're at 2,100.
Okay, let's maintain that.
So bank angle is okay. Just a bit of back pressure.
That's it.
Traffic is clear.
Right, the nose is dropping a small bit. That's it, corrected. So you see sometimes when you put the back pressure in, it increases the bank angle.
Yes.
So you have to do a bit of juggling with the controls to get it back to where you want it. But remember, you're flying the airplane, so you put it where you want it to be. So have you got your reference point?
I have.
Good. Rolling out. Ease off the back pressure, and there we go. 2,100.
So we did lose 100 in the turn.
Okay.
But we got it back.
Got it on the way out there. So why was that? Nose dropped a little bit?
It did, yes.
Okay, good. So you've seen what happened there. So when we're navigating, what we'll do is we'll have our plug here, we'll have our numbers on it, we're flying, I don't know, at heading 290, and it's worth then trying to find something on the horizon that we can fly to rather than focusing on this the whole time. So that's why we get a reference point. But on occasion, you're going to have to turn onto a heading. So let's do a turn onto a heading now. So let's turn onto a heading of 060 degrees.
060.
So find which way is the shortest way.
To the right.
Okay, we'll have a look.
Clear to the right.
All clear to the right. So now we're looking outside, we're confirming with the instruments, and then every now and again we're going to have a look at our compass and see where we are relative to our rolling out point. It's a little bit more challenging. You have to look at the instruments. Ah, it's a nice day for flying, isn't it?
It is.
Beautiful.
5 degrees short. But we're at the same altitude.
Good. Okay, let's try heading of 210 now.
210. Okay, so again a right turn.
Okay, we're all
clear to the right.
Yeah. See the challenges of turning into the sun then as well. It's a little bit disorientating. It's very difficult to spot traffic. Nice. Right, let's try left turn onto 090.
090. So we are clear to the left.
So you can see the bank angle is a little bit high on this one. So just ease it off. There we go. Good. And then another left turn then onto heading 330.
330. Clear left.
Now you find when you get into the grub, you do this, you have to adjust it slightly.
Okay.
It's a different airplane. The picture will look a little bit different, power settings a little bit different, but the concept is exactly the same. Bank, balance, back pressure. No matter what aircraft you fly, if you're flying a multi-engine aircraft, you don't need to worry about the balance because you generally don't need a rudder with them in the turn. Cool, happy with that?
Happy with that.
Very straightforward. You have the hang of it there. I'll show you a steep turn as well. Later on in the training we do steep turns, and there's no real reason to do a steep turn. except
avoidance.
Yeah, avoidance is one.
Yeah.
But realistically, the exercise is a kind of a scanning exercise and a handling exercise. So you can see here that's 30, somewhere in between the two is 45, and then you've got 60 up there.
Yeah.
Generally, in the flight test, they get you a 45-degree bank turn. So it's exactly the same as what we've just done, except once you go through 30, you usually need a little bit of extra power. Okay. So I'll show you one. I'll just do a short one around here. So we clear to the right. We just roll in as normal. As we go through 30 degrees, add a small bit of power. That's it. Don't even look about what it is. And then you go 45 there. And that's it. Now the picture is a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's descending a little bit. You need more back pressure on this one. So let's just get it back to level flight. And then if you go to 60 degrees, you need 2 G's of force to keep the aircraft flying. So watch this now. There's 60 now. You need more power. Now you can feel that G-force as you come around. Now this is much more harder to keep the nose on the horizon.
Okay.
Because all your lift is vectored this way. So you need much smaller inputs. Yeah. There we go. And we roll out, and as you come back through 30 degrees, then you ease back on the power, ease off on the back pressure, and that wasn't perfect. But
you make it look so easy.
I was in that seat once as well. So, do you want to try a sleep one there? Generally we do them a little bit higher, but it's fine today. So let's do a left one at 45 degrees.
Okay.
So just somewhere in between the two.
Okay. So we are clear left.
Yeah, into 30 degree, and once you go through 30, then add a small bit of power, just an inch or so. That's plenty, yeah. Now, back pressure now. That's it. A little bit more back pressure. And this is where you can end up in a spiral dive very easily. That's it. Good. Ah, you got the hang of this fairly quickly. Perfect. You have to be quick to correct any changes on this, because once the nose starts dropping, you need to correct it early, or if it drops too much, then you need loads of force to pull it back, and that's where you risk going into the spiral dive. But yeah, nicely done. But that's an exercise for later on in the course. But it's nice just to do one now, just to see.
It's that feeling on the body as well.
Yeah, yeah, it takes a bit of getting used to. All right. Yeah. It's not for everybody. I did a trial lesson there at the weekend, and this guy loved it, so he's doing loads of steep turns, and then he went quiet, and I'm like, oh no, done too much. Anyway, so that's pretty much a lesson on turning. Happy enough with that?
Happy, very happy.
Good. Okay, do you know where you are?
No, but I can see. So we've got the 2 lakes here. Yeah. So there must be an airfield here.
Yeah.
And then so we want to be going to the right.
Excellent. Very good. So you can kind of see the water sports centre, the shape of it. That's always a good reference point. If you follow the trench back towards the airfields, it goes quite close. And the bend in the river, Burton Joyce, there is a very good, useful reference point.
Okay.
That's about 6 miles north or 5 miles north of the airfield. Cool. Any questions on that?
No.
No, that's good. Oh, well flown.
I love the plane.
It's great, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But it was built as a touring aircraft. So you can literally trim it out now. Or if you're touring anywhere, if you're going to France, you probably go up to 4,000 or 5,000 feet, where it's a lot smoother up there. Set the trim, your map out, or you have your lunch or a cup of coffee, or whatever it is. Enjoy the scenery. Well, we're focusing a lot on the handling skills at the moment. You know, you will.
That will come.
It'll come in time, and you'll be able to enjoy it a lot more. I'm sure you're enjoying it at the moment, but it's there's a lot of concentration and focus involved in trying to figure out what's going on.
So to the right-hand side of the River Trent here is where we go into Class D.
Yeah, on the other side.
On the other side.
So it kind of goes across in an east-west direction.
Okay.
At 2,500. So we're at 2,000 now.
Yes. So
we're at 2,000 feet onto QNH. Which means when we change to QFE, we're going to be at about 1,850, 1,900 feet.
Yes.
So we need to be at 2,000. So generally coming in, I go to 2,100 on the QNH. So then when we set QFE, it'll be at 2,000.
And there we've got the airfield in front of us.
Yeah, you have it. Yeah, that's 2-1. So it's going to be runway 27 most likely, because we took off, which is that way. And then left-hand circuit. So the other side is the live side. This side is the dead side, so we can descend on this side. Other useful reference points in the way, and you mentioned the prison already, which is there. Also Lamley Airfield. Easy to see when they've ploughed the field beside it, but not so easy in the summer when it's not ploughed.
No.
So, if you want to call on the radio, do you want to do a radio call?
I can do.
Yeah, so Nottingham Radio, Golf Bravo Hotel Romeo Charlie, 5 miles north inbound. Request joining information.
Nottingham Radio Golf Golf Bravo Hotel Romeo Charlie, 5 miles north, inbound, request airfield information.
Hotel Romeo Charlie to Nottingham, runway in use is 27, a left-hand circuit, QFE 1018.
Runway 27, QFE 1018, Golf Romeo Charlie.
Very good. Just mentioned the left-hand circuit as well. No need to do it now. It's
okay.
Fine. 1018. There we go. 2000. Perfect. That's what we want to maintain.
Descending dead side.
So the trick with flying, I find it works on nearly every aircraft. If you can master trimming, which you've done a pretty good job there, and if you can master the concept that pitch controls airspeed.
Yes.
So if you want to slow down, you raise the nose. If you want to speed up, you lower the nose. And if you want to climb or descend, you use the throttle.
Yes.
And that's a strange concept to get used to for someone who's been driving a car for years. But if you can do that, you can fly on the airplane. So if we get a little bit slow in the approach, we need to lower the nose. Even if we're close to the ground, we need to lower the nose to keep the wing flying.
Yes.
And then to stop us getting too close to the ground, we'll add power then. And it's, like I say, it's a strange concept, but once you can do that, that's half the battle. And then trimming reduces the workload so much that you've got lots of capacity to think about anything else.
Yes.
So, have you done any landings yet?
No, I haven't touched down. I've come in and done the approach.
Okay.
And then it was taken off me the last.
Oh, we can do this. Landing today. So, you saw how heavy the airplane was to rotate.
Yes.
So it requires a bit of force, not a huge amount of force, but a little bit of force, or more so anyway than the grob during the flare. So what we're going to do is we're going to fly the circuit. 70 knots is our magic speed on this. It will float a little bit because we're not at the maximum weight. We're much lower weight than our maximum. So we're going to do, we do 3 stages of flap. Come in at 70 knots. I'll talk you through it the whole way down. Once you get into the flare, close the throttle. And what you want to do is we want to try and fly level with the runway for as long as possible. So what we're doing is just easing the back pressure to keep the aircraft flying level. And by doing that, the nose will come off the ground and eventually we'll touch down on the main wheels.
Yes.
That's the idea. Okay, so you see where the runway is?
Yes.
We need to cross the runway now at 800 feet at the 09 end. So we're just coming inside the ATZ, which is at the end of the water sports centre here, so we can start descending. So carb heat on first. And then, yeah, smoothly back to idle.
Alpha Roger, service wind 270, 10 knots.
Doesn't necessarily need to be idle. We probably need idle here to get it down and lower the nose. So whatever airspeed combination, power combination to get to 800 feet to cross the runway. And on the radio you want to say Golf Romeo Charlie, dead side descending.
Golf Romeo Charlie, dead side descending.
So we're on the dead side of the circuit and we're descending. Now, we're looking out for other traffic here now as well. There's somebody called Finals. I don't see them yet. I think it might have been that gyrocopter. So look out for him. Anybody who's in the circuit already has the right of way, so we need to give way to them. So that's why this is a good point to look out. I'll quickly do the landing check. So I'll check the brakes are off, the undercarriage is down, the mixture is rich, fuel is on, fuel pump can go on. Flaps are up, carb heat is already on, temperatures and pressures are in the green, and the hatches and harnesses are secure. Good. So we're going to cross the 09 threshold at 90 degrees at 800 feet. Somewhere there will work, and I don't see any traffic.
No, I don't either.
Maybe he has landed, but...
there's a helicopter on the runway.
It's a gyrocopter, yeah.
Gyrocopter.
Okay, so we're just about to level off now, so you can anticipate that. Power attitude trim. Now I'd recommend about 2100 revs in the circuit because this thing is a little bit fast otherwise. Or 2000 is enough because you'll shoot downwind very, very quickly. So having a look over your shoulder, seeing where the airfield is, and probably around now we could probably start thinking about a turn onto downwind. Yeah, that's it, good. Have a look out here, make sure there's no traffic. Aiming for the right hand side of Cotgrave. See there's a forest along the right. That's a pretty good reference. But we're doing everything with reference to the runway. But that's a good reference point to start with for the turn. And on the radio then, Golf Romeo Charlie, downwind.
Golf Romeo Charlie, downwind.
Romeo Charlie, Roger.
Okay, so this reduced power...
Active vacated.
Oh yeah, vacated, good.
Dakota Romeo for Roger.
So this speed means we're in the flap limit range already.
Okay,
and,
which is that
the
part,
white,
is it?
The white arc, all the way to 105.
Okay.
Yes, it's quite fast on this. So, if we're going third stage of flap, we select the first stage now. Watch the trim change. See that?
Yeah.
It's quite big. So you can trim out as necessary and then roll into the base leg. That's it, clear on this side. That's 70 knots is our magic number.
Oh, not too much.
Okay, yeah, so lower the nose if you're slow and then add some power to stop descending. So, and again, a good reference point is Radcliffe on Trent over here.
Okay.
Fly 90 degrees to the runway as best you can. That's it, and we can start descending now, so reduce the power, lower the nose to maintain the speed. So, second stage of flap now. And then retrim. And I'd say you probably need a little bit less power, because you're not descending particularly fast. Again, this thing has got a huge wing on it, so it floats a lot more.
Yes.
And glides a lot better than most of the two-seaters. Okay, whenever you think you need to turn then.
Now.
Yeah, okay. That's it. So in this case the nose will go down for the turn to maintain the speed. Nice. And then on the radio, Golf Romeo Charlie final.
Golf Romeo Charlie final.
Romeo Charlie, surface wind 2708 knots.
Don't need to acknowledge that.
No, you don't need to. So last stage of flap now. So this is the drag flap. It'll really change the picture, it'll really slow us down. That's good. So get yourself onto the centre line. That's it, ease to the right. Carb heat can go off.
Carb heat off.
Good. And that's it, you just want to fix those 27 numbers in the windscreen.
Yes.
And just keep descending at a constant angle, constant rate towards the runway. Just nice small inputs as you go. That's it. So ease a little bit more to the right. That's it, just small changes. Keep it descending. Nice. Keep coming down, keep coming down, keep coming down. Okay, off at the power now. Gently raise the nose. Not too much. Okay, so descend a little bit more. Now, just hold back pressure, back pressure, back pressure. A little bit more. A little bit more, a little bit more. Lovely. That's it. Now you're thinking with your feet.
Wow. That was amazing.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Worst thing to do on a Thursday afternoon. So, we haven't finished flying yet until it's parked up.
No.
So, we're just managing the speed. We can see where the exit is. And we can let it roll, or you need to add power. But the rolling is pretty good here. And then ease onto the brakes then. So, these undercarriages aren't designed for side loading on the ground, so you have to be relatively slow for any turns.
Okay.
And then we'll just taxi straight over the whole short line. We'll stop and we'll tell them when we're vacated.
And we don't do that until we're past that.
Until you're past, yeah, and you can. And then we tell you to stop and do it, but with experience you can do it while you're still rolling. But so make sure your tail is over the line. Yeah, you can bring it to a stop, and then Golf Romeo Charlie, runway vacated.
Golf Romeo Charlie, runway vacated.
Yeah, Charlie, roger.
Okay, so just set the brakes here, 1200 revs, and we'll do the after landing checklist. And again, this is something you can do from memory later on, but at the moment, just while we're learning, we'll do it. So all of this stuff happens in flight, so we do that from memory. So, sorry,
So trimmers into neutral.
Yep.
Flaps up.
That's it.
All the way. Throttle friction to loose. Leave it there.
Yeah, leave it there. Yeah. Anywhere around there.
Carb
fine,
heat.
Just make sure it's
Check
off.
off.
Yep.
Electric equipment off.
So anything. So we leave the radios
that
on.
That can go on to standby though.
You can turn it all the way off now.
All the way off.
Yeah. This one here, if you can get it off, it's a pain in the ass. You have to kind of dig your nail to get it off. This one off.
Off.
And then this one off as well. And we leave the radio off. Sorry, we leave the radio on. And then these are all non-essentials now. So all the grey switches can go off. Fuel pump as well. Yeah. Good.
Radio and equipment as required.
Yeah, that's what I want. They're kind of joined. Yeah. And then we're going to taxi. And we just put it back where we got it here.
Okay. I didn't close the full throttle then. Before
You've made the mistake now, so you learn for next time. That's it. We try to get the nose wheel somewhere up near the yellow line. Yeah, that's fine in this setting, so just keep it moving forward.